Welcome to the channel. This is Clarity Empress, the Empress of Clarity, here to bring you a collective energy reading. I hope everyone is doing well. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, comment in the comment section. Let me know, if the reading resonates with you. Welcome. No matter when you see this reading, morning, noon, or night, you are welcome here. Alrighty. Alright. Let's get the moderators up in the building. Our moderators. All right, and let me get my pewter set up. Get this thing crack-a-lacking. We got great topics tonight. I think that you will enjoy learning about in depth, okay, or discussing, I should say, in depth. So some people will learn, some people will just be kind of hashing out what they know. So we shall begin shortly. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all hear me adjusting. Wait for the moderators. Make sure I'm listed. Interesting. I want to get my content up for y'all. Don't mind the pause. Black cherry. Okay, I need to refresh this. What's it? Yeah. All right, we ready? Are we ready? So I got the tea. I went to Deep Seek. I said Deep Seek. I'm seeking some info. Okay. We need to just get into it. All right. So we get ready to touch on some complex topics, multiple topics, but mostly stalking, obsession, and Stockholm syndrome. And we get ready to break it down, okay? Because it needs to be broken down, to the very last compound. Hey, Carmen. How are you? How are you? How are you doing? Everyone like, share, and subscribe, please. Thank you. So that, notify the algorithms that we are in the building. Okay, so we're gonna start with the first question now. The question was about why do they stalk and obsess over you while with a toxic individual? All right, so we get ready to unpack it, unpack it. Mm-mm-mm. Um, and I'm gonna pull some cards out as we go. You know how we do. You don't know how we do over here. So we are not diagnosing anyone. Okay, we are merely discussing some psychological stuff that happens to lots of different people for various reasons. All right. So the spirit, give me a message for the collective about this. Give me a message for the collective about this topic. Say there be a nostalgia energy over you. They want connection. They remember the time, whatever their time is with you. They remember it. They can be very deceptive, hollow, and misleading. Yep, that's going to come out. Tell me more. Person would want some growth and stability with you or the idea of it. Tell me more. Oh, they're a sucker for your love because you did something to this person. When you were with this person, this is why they're nostalgic energy because they were a sucker for your love. Like it's something about you. They cannot let that go. All right, tell me more. One at a time. There we go. May every evil eye go blind. They also don't want anything to happen to you. What's the bottom of the deck? Ooh, they may not want nothing to happen to you, but they may be carrying something on their own. Let me tell you how it resonates. There ain't no card I want to see. Can't get it in here. Okay. Yeah, so your person is stuck in nostalgia energy, but they are also with a toxic individual who may have been the one to carry the STD up. I ain't gonna lie. It came from somewhere. Somebody gave it to them. They gave it to somebody. Hopefully not you, collective. All right. So, Imane, what up, boo? So here's the topic, okay? We're talking about this. It's a very complex issue. Somebody's stalking, right? They obsessively watch you. Whether they do it every day or not, they're always checking in on you, okay? But they in a whole nother connection. So that don't make no damn sense, right? So we're going to go over some of the social, emotional, psychological factors and some of the possible reasons why they engage in this, okay? First, fear of commitment and self-sabotage, okay? Some, I want to say men or women, avoid committing to a healthy relationship because they fear intimacy or vulnerability. They feel unworthy of a good partner and unconsciously push them away. They prefer the chaos of a toxic relationship because it feels familiar, even if it's painful. So that's usually if it feels familiar like that, it stems from childhood wounds, maybe the environment they grew up in. All right. There's also control. Number two, control and power dynamics. Cyber stalking can be a way, or stalking can be a way to maintain a sense of control over somebody they admire but didn't choose. Keep the quote unquote good person as a backup option, emotional safety net, and avoid fully letting go even if they're unwilling to commit, right? So they won't commit to this person. It's just, you know, they just be our backup. They'll just be break in case of emergency. I just can't go to them right now. All right. And then that also gives them a reason to stay out in the street and play games. Uh, and I say in the street, I just mean outside where people are doing people things when they could have had something special, right? And number three, cognitive dissonance. They may idealize the good woman or good man while staying in a toxic relationship because they romanticize what they could have had, but are too conflicted to pursue it. They use the fantasy of the better relationship to escape their current reality. This is somebody who's not putting in the work on themselves. So, they like to mentally escape and, just think about you. It's safer to just think about you, not engage with you. Number four, avoidance of, excuse me, I got cantaloupe in my mouth. Avoidance of accountability. Instead of facing their own emotional issues, they string both women along. Both, we're going to put this as a man right now. Both women along to avoid making a real choice. They refuse to fully leave the toxic relationship due to dependency, guilt, or fear of being alone. So this person would be plagued with, again, like I said, this is complex issue. They could be plagued with a lot of insecurities for various reasons, and that would keep them from somebody. All right. Also, the thrill of the chase. That would be number five. The thrill of the chase and validation. For some, the attention, even if unreciprocated, is an ego boost. They may enjoy the emotional high of keeping tabs without real effort and use the good person as an emotional crutch while staying in dysfunction. Man, listen, what does this mean for the good person? What does it mean? Well, if you're the one being cyberstalked or strung along, this behavior reflects their issues and not your worth. They may never change unless they confront their own patterns. Healthy love doesn't play games, it chooses you openly. Okay. And the final thought on this one, this portion is um, a person who truly values a good person will commit, not hoover in the shadows while clinging to toxicity. The healthiest response is to set firm boundaries, refuse to be an option, and focus on those who choose you wholeheartedly. Okay. And would you like, let me see what else. Oh, it's painful and confusing when someone didn't choose you, still tries to keep tabs on your life, especially while they're stuck in another relationship. You deserve clarity, peace, and love that shows up for you fully. All right. So they give a little tips about how to handle it with self-respect. Uh-oh, what's going on with my numbers? Anyway, recognize for what it is. They are emotionally unavailable. If they wanted to be with you, they would. Okay? Stalking or hoovering is about their unresolved issues and not your value. Toxic relationships thrive on drama. If they're staying in one, they might be addicted to chaos. Don't let them drag you into it. You are not a backup plan. A good person is a privilege and not an option. Okay? Now, number two, set unbreakable boundaries. Block them everywhere. No social media lurking, no check in text. If they cyber stalking, restrict your accounts or go private. Don't respond to breadcrumbs. Crumbs. If they reach out with vague, hey, how are you messages, ignore them. He doesn't get access to you. Tell mutual friends not to update you about them. If they respect you, they will honor this. Number 3, detach from the why. I think I tell y'all this every now and then, but I'm going with Deep Seek's version. Stop trying to analyze their motives, okay? The truth is simple. They did not choose you. Healthy love doesn't leave you in limbo. Write a letter that you'll never send to release your emotions and burn it or tear it up. You know what I'm saying? Put it down, write it down, and then burn it. Just so you can get them emotions out. You know, your most intimate thoughts about the whole situation. Get it out. You know? Is this resonating with y'all? Let me know. I don't like to just be talking, but when I'm on live anyway. All right. Number 4, redirect your energy. Focus on what you want. What kind of love actually excites you? What hobbies, goals, or friendships light you up? Pour into those. Upgrade your standards. After this experience, you'll spot emotionally unavailable people faster. Trust that clarity. Now, protect your peace. Number 5, if they try to hoover you back in, I miss you. Things are bad with her. Don't engage. He's only reaching out because his toxic relationship hit a rough patch, not because they're ready to love you right. And affirm daily, I'm not a consolation prize. I'll walk away from half hearted love. Okay. Number 6, consider the deeper lesson. Did you ignore the red flags early on? Were you hoping that they change? Use this as a growth opportunity to strengthen your self worth. Therapy or journaling can help unpack any patterns that keep you attached to unavailable people. All right, now we got some more. All right, so a person, specifically men though, will move mountains to be with you if they really want to be with you. They won't stalk you from a distance while clinging to someone else. You know, and the best revenge on that stuff, that's that type of thing is a life well lived, where their absence becomes irrelevant, right? You don't need to worry about them being there. They should be irrelevant. All right. Now we add a little sauce into the mix, right? So this is about a cyber stalker. This is a cyber stalker who fixates on a good woman they didn't commit to, but is also psychologically trapped in a toxic relationship, possibly exhibiting Stockholm syndrome, like attachment to their abusive partner. Now, this could be anybody, all kinds of people, but we're going to stick with the romantic concept for now. You put it where it go. So, this creates a double-sided dysfunction. He idealizes you, the good woman, as an escape fantasy, but yet cannot leave his toxic relationship. He stalks you to feel a sense of control or connection, but returns to his abuser out of trauma bonding. Okay. Why does this happen? So, the Stockholm syndrome or trauma bonding explains why someone might cling to an abusive partner while simultaneously obsessing over someone else. So some of the key factors. Intermittent reinforcement. His abusive partner cycles between cruelty and love bombing, creating an addictive, high drama bond. He may mirror this hot and cold behavior with you, reaching out when he's hurt and then disappearing. All right. Number 2, cognitive dissonance. He knows his relationship is toxic, but admitting it means facing shame, failure, or loneliness. Instead of leaving, he romanticizes you as the perfect escape, but fears actually committing because dysfunction feels safe. Number three, learn helplessness. If he's been emotionally broken down, he may believe he deserves the abuse or can't do better. He stalks you. Oh, I'm sorry. Stalking you lets him fantasize about a healthier love, but his trauma keeps him paralyzed. All right. Number four, projection and triangulation. His abusive partner may manipulate him into jealousy. You'll never find someone better. To cope, he may project his longing onto you, using your goodness, in quotations, as an emotional relief, but never acting on it. So now how does this affect you? You're treated as an emotional pacifier, there to soothe his pain, but not to truly be chosen. His stalking isn't love, it's a symptom of his entrapment. If you engage, you risk becoming part of the toxic cycle, being his secret comfort while he stays with his abuser. I know to the hell no, not my collective. How to respond with zero drama? I'm going to tell you. You ready? Are y'all ready? Stop all contact. Block him on everything, no exceptions. If he creates fake accounts to stalk you, document it in case you need legal protection. Number two, kill the fantasy. Recognize he is not a victim, he is making choices. Even if he is trauma bonded, he is still responsible for stringing you along. Say out loud, I refuse to be a band aid for his wounds. All right. Number three, protect your energy. Avoid the I can save him trap. His healing is his journey. If you feel guilty, ask, would a healthy man do this to me? Now, you already know the answer to that. And then upgrade your focus. Number four, pour into relationships with people who show up fully. Therapy can help unpack any rescue instincts that draw you to unavailable men or women, depending on who you are. So the hard truth is this: a man like this won't change until he hits rock bottom in his toxic relationship, gets professional help, uh, i.e., therapy or trauma work, and then also chooses accountability over fantasy. So you have to know you cannot save him, but you can save yourself. The more you disengage, the faster his illusion crumbles, and the sooner you make space for real love. All right. Let me see. On the next part. Next. Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize I had this part. All right. Now they giving me a script, y'all. They giving a script. This is so, if they come at you sideways, ready for the nonsense. Because remember the other night, I think I pulled out No Surprise. I think it was Intuitive Kev's deck, and No Surprise flipped around and was in reverse, and that whole deck is upright. So there ain't gonna be no surprise when they come through. Okay. And it says if he message you, text or social media, short, no room for debate. You, I've moved on. I need you to respect that. Do not contact me again. Then block immediately. No last word for him. If he persists from another account, I've asked you not to reach out. Any further contact will be considered harassment. Document and block. Okay? Because what we are discussing here is a energy vampire. Somebody who want to suck your energy dry, but not give you a damn thing because they are too busy giving to somebody else. Okay. Number two, if he tries to explain or hoover you back, when the drama when the trauma dumps or blames his toxic relationship, your relationship is your business. I'm not your therapist or your backup plan. Lose my number. I like this. I like this AI, y'all. If he says I miss you or I made a mistake, if you truly miss me, you'd have chosen me when it mattered. Don't I don't entertain regrets, only actions. Do not engage further. Ciao. If you run into this person, if you run into him in person, keep it icy and brief. This isn't a conversation. We're done. Walk away. No lingering, no nostalgia. If he uses mutual friends to get to you, that's number 4. Tell the friend, if he is unhappy, he can handle it himself. Please don't update me on him. I'm not involved anymore. Key rules for all scenarios. No. No paragraphs justifying yourself. No emotional reactions. Even anger fuels them. And no closure meetings. He'll use that to reel you back in. Right. You know what I'm saying? A real live vampire. Because they just waiting for the opportunity to reel you back in and suck you dry and then leave you for dead again. And if they're not, the actions will show a difference. There won't be this little passive aggressive nonsense they talking about here. All right, so for your own resolve, write this down and read it when you waver. I refuse to be a footnote in someone else's toxic story. Every time I walk away, I reclaim my power. Stay strong. The silence after blocking him will feel brutal at first, but soon it will feel like freedom. Um, what was the last stuff? Okay, so I asked them AI to give us a little bit more on Stockholm syndrome. Why the abused protect the abuser? Because there's a lot of psychological stuff in that, right? Well, Stockholm syndrome is a psychological survival mechanism in which victims develop sympathy, loyalty, or even affection for their abuser. It often occurs in situations of prolonged abuse, captivity, or extreme dependency. So, abusive relationships, hostage situation, cults, families, you know. I'm like looking for my little blanket, it was right behind me. So, how it happens is a psychological trap. The survival instincts take over. The victim's brain rationalizes, if I make them happy, they won't hurt me. Over time, small acts of kindness from the abuser, which is a brief reprieve from abuse, feels like love. But we know it ain't. And then isolation and brainwashing. That's number 2. The abuser cuts off the victim from friends and family, making the abuser their only source of connection. The victim starts adopting the abuser's perspective. Maybe I do deserve this. Trauma bonding. That's number 3. The abuser cycles between cruelty and affection. So, example, abuse, apologizes, love bombing. This creates an addictive high drama bond, similar to a gambling addiction. So, this is where a person cannot emotionally regulate themselves. They kind of take a lot of risks, but they're used to that high. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can see where that will cause that. It also could cause somebody to be on drugs too because they always chasing that next high. And then number 4, learned helplessness. The victim believes escape is impossible, so they submit to maintain peace. They may even attack those who try to help them, basically defending their abuser. And they'll make excuse, you know, they'll lie to police, lie to friends, lie to family. Everything's fine. No, we're great. Oh no, I'm not being abused. But also a lot of that is rooted in shame and in that failure. Like they just don't want to acknowledge that that situation failed them. So why is it hard to break free? Why is it so hard to break free? Fear. The victim believes the abuser will retaliate if they leave. Guilt. The abuser manipulates them into feeling responsible for their happiness. So they'll, that goes without saying. Distorted reality. Years of gaslighting make the victim question their own memory. That's a big one with abuse. Because if you've been gaslighted for so long, you don't know if it's real or memory. You just don't know what makes sense Am I hearing this live and direct, or is this pre-recorded? Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And then, oh, how did I miss that? Um, why is it hard to break free? Financial and emotional dependence. The abuser ensures the victim has nowhere to go. So one of the things is, yes, fine, they take their finances and keep them crippled financially. So it makes it harder for them to save, plan to escape. Also, when they get them to isolate, that causes them to burn bridges, right? So you burning bridges with people, people don't want to help you anymore. Then you really don't have nowhere to go, because you don't have money and you don't have any trusted allies that could take you in. Now, how does the abuse protect the abuser? I really skipped over that, didn't realize this. I'm going back to it. The victims often make excuses for the abuser's behavior. They had a rough childhood, so they make excuse like, oh, they didn't mean it, they had a rough day at work. There's always some type of excuse as to why they accepted the abuse. Number two, they blame themselves. If I had just acted better, they wouldn't get mad. So somehow it's the victim's fault. Somehow they caused this person to be disrespectful or chaotic toward them, which is not true, but that's what they do. Also, they reject help from outsider. You don't understand them like I do. Like, they feel like they're the only ones that get the abuser, you know, because the abuser has kind of brainwashed them into believing that they are the only ones that get them, because they're the only ones that are allowing them to be beat up emotionally, mentally, or physically, or even financially. They lie to cover up abuse. Now, in this part I said to police, friends, or family. So when the abuser does something, the victim will flat out lie. She didn't do that, or they would never do that, or that was so and so. They make excuses and put the responsibility on somebody else, but they will never, you know what I'm saying, or they won't, um, in their presence, allow the abuser to take the fall. And then the last one on this, on the, how the abuser protects the abuser, how the abused protects the abuser. The victim often returns to the abuser even after escaping. So I don't know if y'all remember that R. Kelly episodes before R. Kelly got locked up, and he had all those girls, and the statistics were showing that when a person is abused like this, based on what I'm talking about, and all of them girls that was really close to him or thought they were close to him had Stockholm syndrome, the ones that kept fighting to not leave, they they say on average it takes 6 to 7 times before a person will finally leave their abuser, right? So they may have other opportunities, may have left before, but on average, so if you know anything about statistics and you're looking at averages, the average is in the middle. So for some people it's a lot less, and some people it's a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? 11, 12 times, 13 more. You know what I'm saying? Before they will actually take the steps that's needed to get out of that situation. Before they can, I guess, feel safe within themselves. Now, let's go further. How to help someone or yourself break the cycle. Number one, don't judge. Shaming. Why don't you just leave? Only pushes them deeper into the bond. I just say, well, let them be. If they don't, you do what you can, and if they don't see what it is, what it takes to get out of that, there's nothing really you can do. You can validate. Number two, validate their reality. I believe you, and what they're doing is not your fault. You can simply talk to them like, yes, that's not okay. What you just explained, what just happened to you is not okay. Number three, encourage small acts of independence. help them rebuild self-trust, a secret savings, reconnecting with friends. You know, I had to tell cousins how to leave a situation without it blowing up in their face. And one of the things was be quiet. Don't say nothing until you gone. That's the only way. Now, did that person, the abuser, spin the narrative later and say, "Oh, I kicked them out"? Yeah, but it don't matter. They gone now. They free. They escaped. You know what I'm saying? Who cares what they got to say after the fact? All right. And then number 4, therapy and support groups. So there's trauma informed therapy, which is 2 examples would be EMDR and CBT, which can rewire the brain's attachment to abuse, and DV hotlines like RAINN, RAINN, provide escape planning. Now, I do not know if RAINN is on my link, but if you go to my LinkedIn bio on this channel, the top link on that bio says mental health support. You should be able to click on that link. I think I left it there on the top, and NAMI comes up. And what I learned from that link was amazing to me because it had so many different resources. It wasn't just one government or one telephone number. It had multiple types of hotlines on there. So if you know anybody going through it, give them that number or give them that link, or look into it yourself. I took a mental health CPR class. They didn't even mention that, but I guess I was already in the mindset that you never know when someone is going through a mental health crisis, and you can offer them some sort of direction. You cannot save them, but you can offer and point the way. All right. And number 5, safety first. Leaving is the most dangerous time. A safety plan, hidden go bag, coded messages is crucial. Like safety words. If somebody texts you pineapples, that means I am ready to go now. Help me. You know what I'm saying? Like, get a plan in place with somebody you can trust. Let her downstairs. Go ahead, Eva. Wait, let him in. Stop. He's not gonna come with you flapping that book. Come on, Osa. Osa. Come here. She downstairs. He's like, she what? Just shut that door when you come out. All right. So wait, let her go come out. Go ahead, girl. You know my nerves, cats. All right, final thoughts. Stockholm syndrome is not love. Okay. It's a survival hack gone wrong. The victim isn't weak, they're traumatized. But with the right support, the brain can rewire itself. If this resonates with you, the part of you that wants to leave this is the real you. So listen to it. And there's resources for safety planning and therapy options. So listen, I just gave you some. You go to NAMI. Also, journaling. If you could do it safely without a person interfering and getting your business, I feel like that's a way to remember your trauma without trying to hold everything in your head so you can go back and reflect on it. You may reread it and go, damn, that happened. But it's a way for you not to be so gaslighted that your brain erases that actually occurred. Um, what else? Let me see. I think I'm done here. But yeah, just know that if you're dealing with somebody who fantasizes over you, obsesses over you, but then has Stockholm syndrome, you really not gonna get too far with this person. Okay, they're not going to choose you over the person that's their cult leader, whether it's a family member or another. romantic partner, or even a friend who controls the friend group. They're not going to choose you over them. They have to learn to choose themselves. That's it. They got to choose themselves. They can't, you cannot be focused on them choosing you. And they may obsess over you because they wish they could choose you, but they got to take the steps to choose them first. So, like, you have to focus on your self worth and stay out of it to a degree. And then they have to choose themselves to walk out of their situation, you know, into a healthier situation, change their environment, change their mindset, start working on their brain, by rewiring their brain to not accept that kind of behavior. That takes it takes effort. I don't think it's not impossible, but it takes effort. But some people, when they get in that victimhood of that, they want to kind of suck you dry because you're willing to listen to them. You want to support them. You want to help them, and they're not really ready to be helped. They're not asking for the help. You may see that they need it, but they're not asking for the help. So that means they're really not ready for it, or they don't want it. If that's the case that you're dealing with somebody like that, then they'll just keep trying to string you along until maybe one day, if they choose to leave that toxic relationship. But they could be so hardwired for it, they don't really see a reason to get out of it, especially if they got somebody to listen to them, especially if you still willing to help them, you know. And if it ain't you, maybe it'll be somebody else that'll help them. But as long as they can stay in that fantasy or that frame of mind, that's exactly what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So your job is to not risk your life or your mental and emotional well-being when it comes to a person who just wants to be in nostalgia with you, doesn't want to put in effort, will still lie, stay cheating still for the toxic person in that Stockholm syndrome mindset. And so many people like that. So if they're like that, you got to be very discerning about that person. Could they, should they, why would they be in your life under those circumstances? What would make you keep that in your life knowing that they're not willing to detach from a trauma bond, knowing that they got addictions? Okay, so when they folks get into these relationships, they don't get into it lightly. They get in there and they got some addictions because they being intimately messed with. The toxic person in their life plays with them. One minute they mean, the next minute they nice, and it's always somehow their fault, even when it ain't. Yeah, they just trauma dump, and they want to woe is me, and then they want to help. They want your help to stay in the situation. They really want. They don't want to go. They want to. They don't want to make the effort. You know. And then you gotta look at it like, but maybe that's what you want then. You might feel hurt and you may be aware that you're being abused, but obviously, if you're not willing to make any changes, then perhaps that's what you desire. And if you, mhm, and if you don't want to experience that too, you have to say what you got to say. Then you got to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying with the obsession and the stalking part, listen, cut them off clean. Even AI said cut them off clean. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't need it from me, take it from AI. AI said, no, no means no. Don't talk to me. Don't tell your friends. Don't tell you nothing else. You don't need to keep tabs on them. Knowing what they got going on ain't really helping you in any way. Might hurt you, but it really ain't helping. And you might have to consider calling police because that person is mentally unwell. And when somebody cyber stalks you like that, it's a manipulation tactic, especially if they're not trying to mask who they are. And even if they are, they're not doing a good job. Like, I'm intentionally going to make sure you know it's me, even if I'm using a fake handle. They just trying to control you in some way, trying to keep some hand in the game with you while they are in another connection. Probably miserable, but some of them, that intermittent back and forth with the love bombing and stuff, they like the poison that they eat. You know what I'm saying? They drinking that poison down. Like, they jug it, because they know that poison coming with a reward in a while. After a while, that person gonna apologize to them, and then they can feel better about themselves. And they gonna love bomb them. They gonna buy them something, give them a gift, or do something, and then the cycle's gonna begin. And if they can pull you in, they will keep doing that to you as that person does that to them. You know what I'm saying? So they can be a nostalgic energy. They can be lying and deceitful. Spirit is saying for you to be more discerning about the energy that you give out, or the energy that you accept into your life, because this kind of situation becomes very intrusive in your energy, right? Sometimes you could feel this person thinking about you, and then all they doing is concentrating on you to escape the reality that they're living in, instead of taking accountability and dealing with the reality. Ain't that what AI said? Ain't that what AI said? They not taking accountability for their actions, right? And they're not taking What's what they said? Um, yeah, they need to choose accountability over fantasy. It's nice to be loved or wanted, but this is not rooted in love. If it's fantasy, it's given that moon energy, right? The moon card, that of the illusions and delusions, or the seven of cups. I really don't know what I should do, or how I should go about it, and what I should take, or what I should choose. That's all confusion energy. Love don't reside in a bunch of confusion. This person is confused about who you are and what you are to them. They're also confused about themselves because they don't know what they want. You got to be careful with those. Right. Right. Yeah, listen. Some people will kind of get you caught up in offering advice, because maybe they come at you at a different angle, or they do the same thing. They project onto you. Oh, you're my only friend. I'm so lonely. I need you. Blah, blah, blah. Same thing that their toxic partner may be doing to them. Because it worked. They know it worked on them. So they're gonna work you too. Right? It's just up to you, right? The listener, to listen with a discernment, to make sure you're not being pulled into something you don't belong in. And people will do that. They will pull you into situations that you don't belong in and not care. I know, as a friend, just as a friend, sometimes when we contact our friends, we also have a responsibility to say, listen, girl, what's your mind state right now? Because I need to lay something on you. And if you're not in the capacity to deal with it, maybe today ain't today, or you're not the person. And that's fine. Right? Sometimes we need to ask permission, because even as friends and family member, we might want to trauma dump, and that person may not be overloaded. Their capacity could be full. This ain't what I'm talking about. Okay? That's consideration. This person is a vampire. They don't give consideration. They may trauma dump on you. They may just whine and complain, or just feel sad for themselves and need you to cheer them on, right? But they can't, because they're always the victim. They're not able to do that for you, or they're not willing to put their shit aside and just, focus on their friend for a little while. They just no. And when you recognize that that's a pattern, you realize you don't have a friend. Okay, I don't know what you want to call that, a lackey. I might even have the right words for it, but that's not a friend. That's somebody who will more than likely end up resenting you, jealous of you. You know what I'm saying? Got the evil eye against you. Yep. Well, I'm starting to realize that for myself, that I can't give people that amount of rope anymore. Couple years, no. And it's easy, especially with family members. Oh my God. It's easy to want to cheer them on for long periods of time. But at some point in time, you're going to hit a brick wall with somebody who don't want to change. You're going to hit a brick wall. You're going to realize they was just playing. They didn't really want this or that. You know what I'm saying? Or them, him or her. They didn't really want it. They just talked. They was just talking a good one because it sounded good in the conversation to say that's what they wanted. I'm starting to see that with people really, really quick now. It ain't taking me years no more. It's last time I talked to you was on the same type time, and the time before that. Now I'm not bringing that up anymore. Now I'm done. I don't want to discuss it no more. Not because I don't generally care about the person, but because I don't want to keep repeating the same cycle with them. This you will repeat cycles with people who are not putting any work into themselves, because they are in a broken record, and that's a sign of insanity. Not to say that they're insane, because I'm not diagnosed, but it's a sign of insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over again and not getting any new result. You know what I'm saying? They plugging at it, they going at it the same way, same approach, whatever. Maybe involving a different person or different something, but they still doing the same thing over and over. That is an energy vampire. And they will keep you, stuck in your own head over, I hope they get it done, I hope they fix it. Leave them people alone. You hear me? Hmm. Yeah. Man, listen. We gotta come out of that energy of we love hard, because that's what also keeps us in scenarios with people longer than we should. I love you, but I ain't loving hard, because hard love and hard don't resonate on the same frequency. And once we understand that and love and learn that, then you start to realize that what you're doing is being rejected, or what you're doing, there's no cooperation. What you're doing is you're trying to do the emotional, mental, and physical work for somebody who doesn't want to do it for themselves. That makes loving someone hard. It's not the person, it's the effort that you have to put in and the lack of effort that they put in. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be shorter patience with people. I think, when I hit my mid 40s, I realized, oh, or maybe it was sooner than that. All I know is I don't have the patience like I used to. I've had it for different people for different reasons. I have for children more than I have it for adults. You know, but when I realize somebody is committed to misunderstanding, committed to doing it only their way and not cooperate, not put in the effort into themselves, not do what's needed, I let that go. I excuse myself from the equation and I let it go. And the one thing they said is right is that it's hard to let go of people. I mean, you get used to them, you enjoy their company, they enjoy yours, blah, 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 right? But when they take you down that road and you see no advancement, improvement, support, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, you don't see it, it's best to go ahead and focus on yourself. Just let them go and go do you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, broken recycle BS. Same soup, just reheated. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm crashing out too. And you know what too? I don't want to crash out over people's foolishness. I don't want to, but they have made me. And now I don't have the energy to give you if you want me to crash out over you, but you won't do what you need to do. I don't have the patience for that. And I'm like, at the point now, if my emotions got to be that invested because you don't want to do the work in yourself, then I felt myself get angry about a situation and I realized, wait a minute, why am I mad? This ain't even, you know what? And I'm done. Soon as I come to the understanding that I just got ready to, or I did crash out over something that didn't have a damn thing to do with me, I shut up. I'm done. I'm done. I will just let you have it. You got it. Do what you got to do, however you feel that you need to do it. It don't need to involve me. I am not. I'm out. I bow out gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. And I now do it where this is an important part, y'all. Giving yourself permission to let somebody go that just doesn't want to be healthy in your life. They're not ready to be healthy or they don't want to be. And allowing them the space to do what it is that they need to do for themselves, good or bad. They talked about what was this about somebody potentially having gambling addictions or being attached to gambling addictions because of the circumstances they're in. That drama reflects, that heightened sense of I gotta have more, and not knowing when to stop. Leave them people where they are. This is where they talk about them new earth people, where those that are calm, cool, collected, and you know, have an understanding of themselves. They, self-aware, and they have self-love, and they put in effort, right? Because you never stop loving yourself. You never stop putting into your self-worth. Like anything could make you insecure at any given time. So it's always not necessarily a challenge, but it's always effort that needs to be made to apply to yourself. It's always, and every waking day of your life, there's always something you can learn. Those people are going to be separated from those that are just fighting the same demons year after year and over again. They're going to be separated. Why? Because there's no room for that in a calm, peaceful environment where people have broken generational curses and and gotten away from learned behavior. Ain't no room for that in that person's world. So there are going to be lots of people that choose their peace and those that are in that chaos and conflict energy because they haven't been able, they're not strong enough, they're not courageous enough, willing enough, and no shame, they're just not there. And that is the way they choose to live their life. And those people, again, those victim mindsets, they can be very manipulative. So it's better to keep them out your energy until they have their great awakening and they shift. And if they don't, either way, you don't wait for it. Don't wait for it. Because those people that think you are waiting for it, they won't change until they hit rock bottom one. Get some professional help too, and choose accountability. So those people that don't want to do none of those steps, ain't ready for none of that, will keep you in like a perpetual um, cycle of hoovering and stalking and obsessing over you, and you feeling their energy, and they just won't let you go. And then you know what it becomes to? It's that twin flame is it dichotomy? It's that twin flame dynamic, right? Where they are so obsessive and intense, and you try to release them, and the more you try to release them, and you're unbothered by just them in general, the more they want you, because they still want to fantasize. They still want to hold on to the fantasy. If they really truly wanted and desired you, they would show up different. And then what that's a big difference. Mm, a narcissistic hostile. So are you safe, spiritual lucky? Spirituality lucky? Oh my gosh. So okay. So what I was saying in the beginning or earlier in the live is that on my page, on this page, I have a LinkedIn bio. It's a link, and it's like Linktree. If you click on it, it says mental health support. But what it's NAMI. NAMI is the organization that is, but they have multiple lines. So there are lines for DV support, you know what I mean, to help you hatch a plan to get safer, you know, if you need a plan. You need a plan, and you need resources and support. So I would suggest that you try looking on NAMI's page. In my area, and then they changed the name, and I don't know why they did that. But there's a place called Women's Space here in my I'm in New Jersey, and they find women shelter and legal support. So in a shelter that is like undisclosed location, for safety reasons. Good. I know you meant exit, but good. Good, good, good. I pray that you get where you need to go, and safe and unscathed, because you do. You have to be in secret when it comes to leaving these people. You cannot tell it all. Good. When I went to DV, I didn't have a plan, so to speak, but I stole an opportunity, put it that way, because he did the most. I had to scream bloody murder for the police to come, and they came because, of course, we didn't have a phone at the time. This is many, many moons ago, and I had a bruise. I showed them the bruise, and they said, "Oh, that's domestic violence." He didn't even. I hit him that day, but he had been hitting me before. It was like two other incidents before in that year and a half. And I man, listen, I used every opportunity I had, and they was like, "Well, that's domestic violence. We locking them up. We gonna be in there for at least 30 days. Say less." Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't lock him up just for that. He had back then, weed was not in that state. Weed was not legal. So okay, so spirituality lucky. If children are involved, find you a safe space like women's space. Now I don't know, they changed their name out here, but I'm pretty sure if you Google women's space or you get somebody to Google that for you, those organizations are nonprofits, and sometimes they have these pro bono lawyers on staff, and they will help you with custody. I've had to use them, not for myself, but I reached out, gave some information, and the lawyer, you know, they on staff, and they gave me the information needed to help a parent out who was dealing with an abusive, another abusive parent, and it was helpful. But um, one of the things you have to do is you got to move in silence. So prayers up to you and for you, positive vibes that everything works out smooth and clean and that the kids are okay. And consider getting the kids in therapy if they're not, because that's a lot to deal with. And that's a trauma they'll take with them the rest of their life. And if you could do it with family therapy, I suggest that. I know a lot of therapists that friends of mine who sent their children to therapists, the therapist was saying, no, they don't want to do one-on-one with kids anymore. They want family and group therapy because everybody got to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? So consider that it's not just you. They also they also need support. But it's a family thing, you know? And I wish you the best of luck. Also, come back and tell us when you get safe. Please let us know you are safe. That is, it's not like it in this world to feel like that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Families don't, oh, you can solve your own problems. You don't need nobody to tell you that. That's the shrink. That's why they call them shrinks. Meanwhile, the person is giving you validation. You know what I mean? Teaching you how to be safer and from people who don't value your safety. This world is definitely a different place. You're right. But like I said, stay safe, sis. Stay safe. All right, we're gonna finish this up with a couple of tea leaf. So in this channel we cover, not only do we cover the tarot and oracle, but we psychology and sometimes current events. I've been staying away from current events because most of it is a never-ending drama. That's that never-ending song. I'm just feeling like I can't escape the reality. It's not that I want to, but at the same time, I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Tired of the never-ending song, corruption and anyway. Pay attention to your finances. So I hope you have a secret bank account. If you don't have one, get one. If anybody is going through the abuse part and you feel like a victim, you need a secret stash. Get it so that nothing comes in the mail, not even an advertisement for the thing. Don't give them any reason to suspect. Don't think that you can go to the mail first either and capture that, because 9 times out of 10, if their spidey senses start tingling, they go to that mailbox first, it's gonna blow your spot. Tell me more, spirit. So pay attention to your finances, because you're gonna need a plan. Dog, what? Yup, and advice from a friend. So help. So know who to ask, know who not to ask, but know who your squad is, who's looking out for you, not somebody who's going to empathize or be conned into telling them your plans because, oh, like say the person named Jason. Oh, Jason was he's so sweet. Oh, he would never do X, Y, and Z. Meanwhile, Jason is a whole monster behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Or Chad was so sweet. Oh, you guys got married. You look so happy. Meanwhile, Chad was a whole physical abuser, and you had to use makeup to cover your bruises. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Right, I get that too. I've signed up for that mail before you get to home, but honestly, that ain't enough. That'll let you know what's coming to your house and the household name, but for your protection, don't have nothing that could potentially be mailed to your house. Get you a cash app, savings account. That's another thing too. Cash App lets you do a savings account and you can categorize your money in the savings. And the savings does not show up on your page. Like if somebody was to have your phone, open your phone, and they open and see you got $21 in your Cash App, but then you got $300 in your savings. You don't see the savings unless you go further, you know? And I think you can lock that up with facial recognition and stuff like that, and PIN codes and stuff like that. Tell me more. It says this is a temporary situation. All will be well. This ain't gonna last long. For whomever this is going through, they're going through this. This will not last long. So this is pay attention to your finance, advice from a friend, and this is temporary. You may need temporary housing because that tent is indicating temporary housing. Go for it. Do what you gotta do. And I'm not saying go no tent, but unless that's what you absolutely have to, but just go for that temporary housing. Fears, worries, and tense situations. That's the challenge and the lesson. This whole I'm getting chills. This whole situation for someone, and I feel like this is your reading, if you're there, spiritual lucky. But that is the challenge and the lesson to deal with the fears and the worries and the tense situations because these type of people are very volatile and unpredictable for the most part. You never know. They come in calm and the least little thing sets them off. So, line your stuff up. This is what Spirit is saying. Line it up. That money ready, that advice, you know what I'm saying? Your support, whoever you run into, what your safe house is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And go like a thief in the night. They work a certain shift. Go. You got somebody that pulls up in the house. They go into the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? You got your go bag ready, whatever stash. Go while they in the bathroom. Take off. Take off. Tell me more. Whoop. About to drop this. You will be taken care of in difficult times. So anybody fleeing the scene, Spirit saying, line it up, strategize, plan. You playing chess, not checkers. Okay, you ultimately gonna win this game, and you will be taken care of in difficult times. So whoever is the person, either in the Stockholm syndrome or just dealing with an abuser, and you feel like a victim, Spirit said, hatch your plan. Bottom of the deck. Yep. Keep your life in balance. The scales of justice will be on your side, but it requires careful planning, strategic planning. When that situation he got locked up, I went to a friend's house for a whole month. I was at my house, but I would just go in, check on my cat, get my clothes, and leave. I just didn't sleep there for a whole month. And then he came out, threatened some more, and I realized, let me take my behind back home. Because this ain't gonna work. I cannot live under them threats. So I had to exit the scene. I had to break my lease, talk to my landlord. I had to get out of there. I had to talk to my job. They transferred me back home. Luckily, there was a place I could go work. You know, even if it didn't, I would have found a job. I wasn't no, you know, I'd have found a job. But yeah, I was blessed to be able to just transfer stores. I let them know domestic violence. They took care of me. The landlord broke the lease for me and did not penalize me for breaking that lease, because it's domestic violence. I don't know, maybe it was a law, maybe it wasn't a law, but I got out of that lease. You know what I'm saying? Mhm. Yep. So this is somebody going through something right now. They're trying to get out of their situation. Good for them. Again, if you are the person not going through that and you are the observer or the friend or the cousin or the whatever, all you can do is be the person that gives advice, because it says advice from a friend. Be the worst person that gives advice if they ask for it. Leave them alone to do what they got to do, unless they're calling you to say, I'm ready, I'm out of here. Then you take action, but only when there's action to take. Otherwise, let them be. Because if they're not ready, they'll suck you into their drama. I'm getting here that somebody is ready to get out of their drama, get into a safer space. So remember, the LinkedIn bio is that one that says mental health support. Click on that if you need some additional help. You need to find a therapist. If you need some domestic violence support, click on that, because there's plenty of phone numbers on that NAMI website. And we don't know how long NAMI gonna last under this administration. So take a full advantage of that being an option for you to find what you may need. All right, so I'm gonna bid y'all adieu. I think it's a long enough read. I hope that the message and the information that I presented to you today was helpful. Um, if you need to rewatch it, timestamp it, whatever you need to do. Comment in the comment section so that it comes back to you. All of that. I appreciate y'all coming to the live, y'all. In the meantime, peace.